edition of the Football for All podcast. I'm Michael Rossi, and I'll be your host today on the episode. I'll be joined by college football expert Seth Sloppy and quarterback analyst Robert Collins. Today we'll be discussing major college football analysis and the NFL draft in 2017. Let's get started with the show.
RJ Collins, I am your co-host for today's segment, and I will be conducting today's segment on QB analysis.
My name is Seth Sloppy, college football expert, and I will be your co-host on today's episode of Campus Corner. Let's get started.
Players of the 2017 college football season are now eligible to be drafted by NFL teams. The standout players are being evaluated by the NFL teams to see where they could be potentially drafted. The draft kicks off on April 27th. This episode at Campus Corner, where Seth Sloppy will be breaking down the best eligible players of this year's NFL draft.
Welcome to this episode of Campus Corner. I'll be your host, Seth Sloppy, and today we'll be breaking down the top 5 recruits for the 2017 NFL Draft. At number 1, we got Myles Garrett, defensive end from Texas A&M. Some say undersized at 6'4", 270 pounds, but this kid is all solid, amassing 10 pounds of muscle last offseason. At a force for the Aggies, Myles Garrett amassed for 33 tackles and 8.5 sacks. On Myles Garrett, he has a very chiseled physique with functional strength and not just the beach muscles. He's a lot bigger than most people think, and true uber athlete with spring-loaded hips and elite explosiveness. Powerful legs allow him to flight through redirect blocks and corner the edge at a sharp angle. Dominant pass rushing ability and production in college. However, sometimes he does rely on his athletics. Pick number 2, Jamal Adams, a safety out of LSU at 6 foot, 215 pounds. He's a little shorter for a safety. However, this man is a 3-year starter, All-American for the Tigers, and he'll be a great addition to whatever team picks him up in this pass-happy NFL we have today. Say about Jamal Adams. The boy is a natural-born leader of men. He's well-built and will not hesitate for 1 second to come downhill and lay the boom. However, this aggressiveness leads to hands on receivers, yellow hankies on the field, and eyes in the backfield, leading to play action over his head. We have another defensive end, this time from the University of Stanford, Solomon Thomas. At 6'3", 275 pounds, he was the Pac-12 Player of the Year and amassed 7 total tackles against the bowl game in North Carolina. Thomas has great genes, as his mother, father, and uncle were all Division I athletes. Thomas is what you call versatile, lining up at many positions and has a ravenous approach to the game, gets off blocks quickly, and attacks early with surprisingly light hands for a big man. We have star running back from LSU, Leonard Fournette. Now, Fournette at 6 foot, 240, this man is like a refrigerator with legs. As a freshman, he led the hardest conference in college football, the SEC, in all-purpose yards, and by the time he was a sophomore, had amassed All-American status. This boy, no, he's a grown man. He's built like a linebacker, he's got the speed, but he's got the hands of a receiver. Long, powerful strides and quick acceleration blow past anyone from defensive ends to safeties. The top 5, we're going to take a trip to the MAC conference to visit Western Michigan standout wide receiver Corey Davis. At 6'3", 210 pounds, he was the Offensive Player of the Year in the MAC, also the Freshman Player of the Year in the MAC conference his freshman year. Year starter and All-American for the Mustangs, Corey Davis has an alpha attitude on the field and has excellent competitiveness. Laser focus without balls in the air. When the quarterback tosses that 50% ball up, you know he's coming down with it 100% of the time.
Enjoying this special video edition of the Football for All podcast, I'd like to take this time to mention my sleeper pick of the NFL draft, Christian McCaffrey, running back from Stanford College. At 5'11" and only 200 pounds, he's been overlooked and underevaluated by most NFL teams, but I think this is wrong. McCaffrey was the Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year and a Heisman Trophy finalist. McCaffrey will be able to make defenders miss on all 3 levels. He has excellent hands out of the backfield and can be used from the slot as well. He has devastating quickness out of breaks and can mismatch any linebacker. He's experienced, a capable punt and kick returner, which will make him have extra value in this year's upcoming draft.
RJ's QB Camp. I'm RJ Collins, and today we'll be looking at the top 2 quarterbacks in today's NFL draft. Deshaun Watson from Clemson and Mitch Trubisky from the University of North Carolina. Earlier, we'll be talking about Deshaun Watson, the quarterback from Clemson. He is 6 foot 2 inches and 220 pounds, has all the intangibles you need as a quarterback. He has great footwork and good arm strength and can drive the ball downfield with a tremendous amount of accuracy. He's also a great leader on and off the field, and he's a 2-time Heisman finalist, a national champion, and he has All-American honors, and he's a tremendous winner. Earlier, he's a tremendous winner, and he has great pocket posture with a quiet upper body, which means he has really good footwork and he can move around when things get very tough and people start crashing down on him. But his upper body still stays the same. He can keep the ball right in a nice little pocket where no one can get it. He was only sacked 32 times over his last 1,181 dropbacks, which is very outstanding, and that means he has a very great line to keep him protected over his last 3 years as a starter. And he's willing to stand in and deliver the ball against all kinds of big defensive linemen that are willing to hit him really hard. We will be talking about Mitchell Trubinsky, quarterback from the University of North Carolina. He's 6'2" and 222 pounds, so he's pretty much the same as Deshaun Watson. And he has all ACC honors, and he was ranked fifth in the nation with 68% completion percentage. But the knock on him about going into the draft that he is only a 1-year starter, which seems like only a small sample size, and not a lot of teams have, a lot of film to analyze him over his playing time. Some of my sources tell me that there are some times that he looks like another Carson Wentz, who is my personal favorite quarterback, and then there are times where he looks like Blaine Gabbert, which isn't too well. He has starting qualities, and he'll probably go early, but he has lots of learning to do with being in the NFL.
Highlight for our episode is Malik McDowell, nose tackle from Michigan State. 6'6", 300 pounds, he will prove to be a great force up the middle in stopping the run and to be a great addition for any NFL team that chooses to draft him. McDowell has a rare combination of size and athleticism. This allows him to overwhelm blockers with his pure strength and explosiveness and stay strong enough to stop the run. He's long and flexible, which allows him to slide into gaps and create disruptions for the running backs. He'll be able to attack the edge with his club and swim moves and will be able to rack up sacks in the NFL. We hope that you enjoyed our episode and will continue to watch the series as we progress.
Concludes our podcast. I'm RJ Collins. Thanks for being on, and it was great.
I'm Seth. Class dismissed.